another episode of Hallmark. I'm Kristen.
I'm Aya.
And I'm sitting on the opposite side that I
Oh my
always
gosh!
do.
I don't like that. I didn't even think of that. Oh, this is so awkward. Oh, jeez.
It's so weird.
So,
After a year, we've decided to swap places.
I didn't even realise that until you said it. No, I hate it. Okay, we're gonna have to keep going.
We have to keep going. It's fine.
The next episode will be a little swap. Yeah, so we're in a new space. We're in my unit, and
Yeah,
brand new. We're still, if you're visually watching, it's gonna, I don't know, it's probably no one cares, to be honest. It's just us and we care. Hopefully the sound quality is fine because it's a different kind of space and there are tiles and
We'll be fine.
yeah, get over it, people.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what are we watching? What are we reviewing?
Reviewing. We're a little late to the St. Patrick's Day party.
Oh well.
But Irish Wish, which for a girl with a semi-lisp is very hard to say,
Oh no.
was released on St. Patrick's Day on Netflix, and we decided let's give it a go.
Yes.
So we did.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something shocking here.
What?
I really liked the
You
movie.
really liked it?
I liked it. I would watch it again,
Okay.
TBH.
Okay.
I can't tell you why though. Is it because there were British men in it? Probably. If anyone knows me, that's like my weak spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I went for a different tactic watching this movie. I was like, I will watch it once just to watch it. I won't take any notes. I'll just watch it. And as I liked it when I first watched it, and then the second time I watched it to take notes, I was like, do I like this movie?
Oh my gosh. Interesting. Do you know, I don't think we've ever really differed
Yeah.
on our opinions.
I know.
So this is the first. Oh, okay. So it's a battle of.
It's a battle of.
And you know what? I consider myself the more negative, judgmental person. So I think this is really saying a lot.
It's because I'm sitting on this side.
Oh yeah. And we're all, maybe we made a wish and we're living in some alternate universe.
Before we digress any further, what's this movie about?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about the IMDb bit, so I've just quickly Googled it while you were talking about your list. So if I'm sorry I didn't react to that, I was like, ah.
Wow, we've known each other a long time. You've heard it for years.
Okay, so Irish Wish with Lindsay Lohan. When the love of... I'm just going to bring my laptop up here. When the love of Maddy's life gets engaged to her best friend, she puts her feelings aside to be a bridesmaid at their wedding in Ireland. That literally tells you nothing about the movie. That is absolute, bullshit. Okay, so basically Maddy is an editor and works with this Irish author named Paul. And she's secretly in love with him, and she wants to tell him how she feels, but she doesn't. He meets her friend, and then cut to a few months later, Paul and the friend, what's her name?
Oh,
someone.
write it down.
Emma are getting married in Ireland. So they all go to Ireland for the wedding. Maddie meets a witch under a tree. Sorry, that's
St. Bridget.
St. Bridget. Yeah, not a witch. I have notes on that. It's fine. And she makes a wish saying she wishes she was marrying Paul. Cut to waking up in the morning.
Yes.
And she is marrying Paul, and it's basically, she's like in an alternate universe where, yeah, she's going to marry Paul. I forgot to mention that she did meet a photographer prior to the wish, James, British, very handsome. It's not important. It is important. So he's still in this alternate universe, except they've never met before, and he ends up being the photographer for their wedding, because apparently they didn't plan a photographer until 3 days, or did the photographer pulled out? Anyway, they end up secretly low-key falling in love without telling each other or anyone. And she basically wishes that she never made the wish. Life goes back to normal.
Yeah.
And everyone ends up with who they're meant to be. It's an important lesson.
Yes.
A very important lesson.
They wrote the lesson down.
Yeah.
Because it says it out loud.
Yeah, it's not really subtle. So that's basically the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That IMDb...
That doesn't give anything away. Maybe they didn't want anyone to know. But the trailer was pretty obvious.
I don't know. Yeah, you watch the trailer, it tells you everything in the trailer. Anyway.
the movie opens with a definition of wish, and I don't think I've ever heard the like formal definition of what a wish is, because it killed me.
I did not like that part. I was like, this is not necessary.
Wish, to want something that you cannot, or probably want something that you cannot have, or probably will not happen.
That is that truly? Did you look that up?
I didn't.
If that's truly the definition of a wish, what a negative Nancy definition. That's terrible.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wishes aren't actually that fun.
No, wishes have such like a. Maybe that's why manifesting is such a
big
thing, because
wishing.
it's more positive rather than wishing.
Yeah. So now the Disney Cruise Line is now Disney Manifest instead of Disney Wish.
I don't know. I feel like there's been some manifest documentaries that have not been good.
Jane Seymour is in this movie.
Yes.
She plays Lindsay's mum.
Yes.
And there is no reason for her to be there. Like, honestly, you could have the movie without her.
She
and
contributed nothing to the story because
she doesn't get to the wedding on time.
She doesn't get to the wedding.
Lindsay calls her occasionally, but then they have Maddy calls her mum occasionally, but even on the phone, she's like, Mum, so glad I can talk to you, but also you're giving me too much information in this phone call.
Yeah.
But my favourite part of Jane Seymour's is at the beginning of the... It is Jane Seymour, right?
Yeah, it's Jane Seymour. Yeah.
I'm like, if I listen to Six the Musical too many times, it's at the very beginning of the movie, she's like, have you told Paul how you're feeling yet? And Maddie's like, oh, I don't know, like, I just like... Please don't, I hope you haven't told anybody that I have feelings for Paul Kennedy, the author. And the mum goes, trust me, nobody in Des Moines cares. And I'm like, girl, snap, mum.
Yeah, that's all you're here for, is to be like, get over yourself, Maddie.
Nobody cares that my daughter has a crush on Paul Kennedy. Like, it's not that... Like, if you're in a relationship, maybe different story. When we first see Maddy, she gets out of cab, she opens the door, she's looking across the road at this beautiful book premiere.
I thought it was a movie premiere, to be honest, because, like, is that what happens at book premieres?
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like that before.
It was very much a premiere.
Yes. With a piddly red carpet.
She looks across the street and has closed her scarf that doesn't match her outfit into the cab door, and the cab drives off taking the scarf with it, and she's like, oh well, walks across the road, there's a moment where she meets Paul, blah 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 blah. Eventually she gets inside and her friends are there, and her friend Emma, who eventually gets with Paul, is like, oh, where's the scarf I lent you? Not at any point has Maddy been like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I lost your scarf. You will never believe I lost you. Not that, and she didn't even go after it. The cab just drove off and she was like, oh well. I was like, why would you borrow, again, nitpicky, but I was just like.
You gotta.
I think that was the thing, is like, Maddy's character as a whole, from the very beginning, is this like dreamy, romantic person, which you're meant to kind of like, right? But she's so incredibly self-centered.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that she's only interested, like, she couldn't even be, it's not really a spoiler, we've all watched it, she couldn't even really be happy for her friend.
No.
At all.
She never tells
It's your
her
own
friends.
damn fault.
Yeah, because she never tells her friends that she has a crush on Paul. Not at any moment does she tell her friends that she has a crush on Paul.
So I found that really weird. Like, if you're supposedly best friends with these people, I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't tell friends. I don't know. Have I told every friend about my crushes? Probably not.
If I
don't
was
know.
working very closely with someone, in that it was just the two of us the whole time, I'd probably be like, mate.
Yeah.
It is so hard to work, because all I can think about is how much I'm in love with them.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
But the friends themselves didn't seem to have a lot of chemistry.
I don't know if anyone had a lot of chemistry in this movie, except the two that end up, as in Lindsay and
the guy who played James. Ed.
The guy who played James. They were like they had the most chemistry.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes, I we'll get to them.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, the friends didn't have a lot of chemistry. The guy playing Paul has been in a lot of other things, Outlander, Sanditon, like all of those kind of period dramas. So I think he came at it with a like, I'm getting back into like real time. And it was just a bit over the top.
I could not stand him in this movie. He's got to be one of the worst characters I've seen. I don't know why I loved it so much. He's literally there all the time. I wrote so many times, his fashion was douche central.
But like from the 90s. Like a very a mix of like plaids and pastels and...
He is a terrible person. Like, the fact that he takes credit for writing when clearly he doesn't write. Yeah. He's so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what she saw in him.
But he's very similar to the character that was her boyfriend in Falling for Christmas.
Yes.
Like, same tone.
Yes.
Same kind of fashion choices. Same career-minded focus.
Yeah.
So maybe that's now the like Lindsay Lohan Netflix trope.
So with like the whole career focus thing and talking about him being a douche, when they're at the book premiere or whatever you want to call it, he's sitting alone at the bar.
Yes.
Dude, having a moment. No one actually
himself.
cares about you, mate. He says to her, I want to take our relationship to the next level. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I think that too. And then he's like, I think we should get ready to start writing the next book. That's where he's a douche, because you know what you're doing when you're using like wording like that. Why don't you say, I want to take our professional career to the next level.
Hey, do you want to start writing this book with me from the get-go?
Don't even say the next level stuff. Exactly. Hey, guess what? I'm ready to write the next book. Let's go.
Proposal for you.
Yeah, I want to propose to you that we write the next book together.
Look, the beginning, I have a lot of notes from the beginning of the movie and not a lot of notes from the middle.
Yeah, I think I'm similar.
And it's all in this book launch premiere
book
moment
launch.
Because it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Sorry, I'm like redoing my hair as I'm talking to Aya. We have two meet cutes in this movie because there are really two couples that we need to focus on. So the first meet cute is between Paul and Emma, the friend. Sorry, I'm now like molting all over Aya. Paul and Emma meet because Paul is leaving the bar after proposing to Lindsay's character to write a book, and runs into Emma, who is making her way to the bathroom because somehow, and as someone who wears fake eyelashes quite a lot, somehow her fake eyelash has not only like removed itself from her eyelid, but it has flipped up and stuck itself to like
her
the
eyelid.
crease side part of your eyelid. And
Crazy. It's not possible.
No, I just am like, what have you done in order to make this happen? Because all it honestly looked like is that she had like stuck her eyelash on her eyelid.
But also, hadn't we just seen her and it was fine?
And it was fine.
Like, what have you done in the last 2 minutes?
Unless you like rubbed your eye and moved it around. But also no makeup smudges. Again, so nitpicky. We know what we are. We know. Anyway, Paul walks into the corridor as Emma's like, I'm never going to use these lashes again because I'm a beauty reviewer, ?
She does something in fashion, or maybe she works for a magazine or something.
And he's like, can I help you? And she's like, I mean, sure. So he reapplies her eyelash to perfection. And then they're in love. It's not... What I appreciated in this meet cute is that it was actually a meet cute, and we haven't had one of those in a really long time. Like, it's often aggressive or like
bumping into each other, being angry.
Yeah.
You did this to me, which is the next one.
Yeah. But this one, I was like, as like random and weird as it is, cute, I guess.
Sorry, I'm absolutely wheezing at the being able to apply it to perfection. That cracks me up. Because it's so true. He's like, darling, hold still. Let me put this lash on you. Boom.
Yeah. It takes me a good while to put on a fake eyelash, and I guess that I'm like, you try to use tweezers and put it in a very specific place, and he's just like, I know exactly where this goes. I've done this many times before. You don't even need more glue. It will just stick right.
Oh my god! I didn't even think of the glue. Oh my gosh, it's so stupid.
Unless they're the magnetic ones.
Yeah, but even then, don't you need an applicator?
Yeah.
No, whatever. Nitpicking.
So nitpicking. Okay, we know what we are. I really don't understand why. So Maddy sees this interaction and immediately wants to break it up because she can see the spark.
Yes.
And instead of just being like, hey bestie, I just need you to know that I've had a crush on this guy for the last year of working with him. Do you mind not? She just says nothing.
Yeah.
They get married. They're getting married. They fly to Ireland, and the minute they're like, "We're in Ireland," I was like, "I want to be."
Oh, the scenery in this, like, combined with like the music. Oh, I've never been to Ireland. Lived in the UK. Never went to Ireland. Should have.
I got food poisoning the night before I was meant to fly to Ireland.
Oh damn.
But I want to be in Ireland so bad.
Yeah.
He wrote, yes to the travel shoes. Lindsay is in sneakers. And I am so glad. Is she in jeans and a blazer? Yes. And that's fine. If that's what you want to travel in, that's what you want to. I personally hate being on a plane in jeans. I'm so uncomfortable.
Absolutely terrible.
I'm so uncomfortable. But yes to the sneakers.
Yeah, and wasn't she wearing glasses as well?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, just like, finally, we're not in business attire to fly long distance. Then we get the meet cute between Maddy and James.
I know it's probably one of the more aggressive ones. I still thought it was cute because I was like, at least it's kind of realistic. It's like, no, that's my bag. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah. So Maddy thinks that her bag is on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, the thing.
The luggage carousel, whatever.
The
It's
thing.
Saturday morning. We're tired. She hasn't put any kind of like indicator on. There's no bag tag. There's no ribbon. There's no.
That's your own damn fault. That's your own fault.
James, this beautiful Englishman who we have probably seen. What you would have seen. Ed. What's his last name? Ed. I wrote it down. Spiliers. Was in the last season of You on Netflix. He plays the friend, and that's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm like, how do I say this without ruining the season?
I've not watched the show.
You've not watched the show at all?
No, I think because I was so traumatized by Penn Badgley in Gossip Girl and just that ending, I was like, mate, I can't. And just like really thinking about his character in that, I go, I can't deal with you being another weirdo.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dan Humphries graduated high school, changed his identity, and was able to be who he really truly was this entire time.
He went, bye Serena, I don't need you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the stalker self I want to be. Yeah. Sorry.
Now that you say that, damn. Anyway, that is probably the last thing we saw Ed in. He plays James. Beautiful British man. Perfect jawline.
Stunning.
Just stunning.
Good accent. He
He also has the same suitcase that Maddy's character has. They both pick it up from the carousel. I can't say that word. Carousel.
Yeah.
They're fighting over it like tug of war style. The bag bursts open.
That would
because zips.
Zips don't do that.
And Maddy's like, see, this is my plaid skirt, and holds up boxes, and he's like, interesting skirt. May I have my bag back, please?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, probably like other than the bag bursting open, very realistic.
Having said that, the chance of it being like a beautiful British man.
In Ireland.
Oh yeah,
we are closer.
Yeah.
To it potentially happening.
Yeah. I'm thinking like Brisbane. Nah.
We'll just go sit in luggage claim of the Dublin airport and just see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I now can't picture anything else. So Maddy essentially has lost her baggage, her luggage, goes to security, I guess, and is like this. Paul comes up as she's waiting to be like, sup, find my bag. And he's like, thank you so much for bringing Emma into my life. She is just
nice, I guess.
the best thing ever. I am so happy, which yes, she is like devastated by it, but she's not actually listening to what's being said. Obviously they got engaged within something like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like they haven't been together long.
My thing is, like, she's annoyed. Dude, like, if he wanted to be with you, he would have been with you. If you really wanted to be with him, you would have said something.
Yeah.
You were working together a lot. Something would have happened. The fact that this happened so quickly and there was such a strong connection, it was never meant to be.
No. And I know that it's hard in a professional setting, especially I guess in like a author and editor relationship too.
Yeah.
Where you're like working so closely. And again, what we are asking of essentially a Hallmark movie is dramatic realism.
Yeah.
And that is okay. What I don't love is that these girls, the 3 girls that are in this movie, are meant to have been friends from childhood. Like their entire lives, they have been best friends.
Wouldn't have gotten that from this movie.
But also just like, if you have been best friends your entire life and you cannot be happy for your friend getting married,
you're not a good friend.
You're not a good friend. Mm-hmm. And then I think once the airport thing happened and she was still being like she still made the wish, I was like, oh, you aren't thinking of anyone but yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the second time I watched it, the first time I watched it, really enjoyed it, but I think once the second time I watched it and I was actually like looking at the plot, I was like, oh, that's so selfish.
Yeah, surely you would have had like a realization, like on the plane at least.
Yeah.
Go in there and be like, oh, okay, this is real. I probably should really get over it.
Yeah, I had my chance.
Yeah.
I had my chance. I know I have my chance. There's somebody else out there for me. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, my next note is James is perfect. I don't want to hear anything to the contrary.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. He's great. He's nice. You know, a bit standoffish, but like someone tried to take your bag, sure. But like he's not. He's just trying to live his life, and Maddy's there.
Yeah. You can be a bit annoyed sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine.
That's fine. And she was a bit annoyed too, so it was equal. Are we at the house yet?
We're not at the house yet.
Are we on the
We're
bus?
about to get on the bus.
Oh, the damn bus.
So Maddy, apparently Emma has a lot of suitcases, so there isn't a lot of room in the car, and so Maddy is like, it's okay, I'll get a taxi, I'll take an Uber. And Paul's like, are you sure? And she's like, yep, totally fine. Gets outside and maybe doesn't have reception because she can't get an Uber. There are no taxis in the taxi rank, and a bus pulls up and she's like, are you going here? Can you drop me here? And he's like, yeah, come on.
She doesn't pay.
Jump on the bus. No. It's Ireland. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Sorry, minor, again, whatever.
Minor detail. So she jumps on the bus. James jumps on the bus with her and is like, ugh, here we go. And she's like, ugh, here we go. Because why wouldn't we be?
Yeah.
She is reading she's got Paul Kennedy's book in her bag, because why wouldn't you carry around the novel that you edited everywhere you go?
Yeah, I found that weird. She always had it out.
And James is like, oh, you enjoy Paul Kennedy's writing? That's interesting. And she's like, Paul Kennedy's written so many books, and James is like, they're everywhere. They have to be good. If there's so many of them, they have to be good. And James says they sell a lot of fish and chips in the UK. Doesn't mean they're all good.
I mean, it's a fair point. I'm trying to think of like other novelists. I feel like Colleen Hoover.
I was about to say Colleen Hoover. It has it's a hit and miss, right? Or even like Leanne Moriarty, like everyone, not every single book from every single author is good.
But also it's so subjective.
Yes.
James does not have to like it. I mean, I understand why she would be annoyed, because technically it was her book.
And he hasn't read this one. And he has said that. He's like, I didn't read it because I don't like the others. The way that he was talking, though, I expected there to be some, like, childhood beef, like they've gone to boarding school together and, like...
No, yeah.
But they do not know each other. There is no connection between Paul and James whatsoever until he decides to photograph the alternate universe wedding. And so it was just a bit weird in that context. Like, I guess watching so many of these movies, there is usually a reason for tension. And that reason is usually past.
Yeah.
So for James to just be so adamantly like, I do not like Paul Kennedy, I do not like his writing, it felt like there needed to be some kind of familiarity in there.
Yeah.
But it was literally just, and that's fine, there are plenty of authors that I'm like, I don't like their writing and I've never met them. But it was just in the wording of his dialogue that I was like, oh, I feel like we're going to eventually get to a point where he knows the family. But it never got there.
Yeah, I think they could have just, like, changed it a bit and he'd just be like, I just don't like it. Don't really like it.
Yeah.
And, like, not have, like, this kind of, like, almost, like, hatred. Yeah.
Yeah, it was this, like, really, really strange like, every book of Paul Kennedy's was, like, a personal attack to James. But oh well. Paul has a brother. I don't know if we ever got his name.
No idea.
But immediately the third friend in this trio, she clocks him, she makes eye contact, she's in love. For the rest of the movie, she wants to get with the brother.
Wait, who?
The other girl.
Oh, yeah, so at the house, and then the other friend. Yes.
Yeah, that I just like, okay, I get it. Irish accents. I would probably be the same. I'd be like, I'm in love. But I wouldn't be actively pursuing the only other single man on the property.
Yeah. Like, is this really what you want? Or, like, what are we doing?
Are you just desperate?
And, I hate saying that. But is she?
Is she? We can be desperate.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Anyone can be desperate.
Anyone can be desperate. But the landscape of this, the house itself.
The house is like some, like, Saltburn shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Beautiful. The, like, every window's view.
But not Saltburn, obviously. Sorry, just really to stress that.
Everyone keeps their clothes on.
Yes.
And all songs are from
No graveyard.
24.
Yeah.
No Sophie Ellis Baxter.
Yeah.
Every, like, pan of a view is stunning.
Yeah.
I love Ireland.
Yeah. And so, here's the thing. He's come from money.
He's come from, like, a lot of money.
Could you say his success...
Yes.
Cool.
He is a Nepo baby.
He's, like, basically a Nepo baby. He's like, you probably wouldn't have been successful if you didn't have the money.
No. Absolutely not. I think that's the thing, is that... And it eventually comes out that nobody else in the publishing... what are they called? Publishing house that he is working out of wanted to be editor on his book. Maddy was like, I'll do it. So he had been turned down by other people within the publishing house to be editor. So I think too, potentially the only reason this book is out is because of Maddy.
But also then how did his other books get out? Like, I think this is the first one she edits. So who was previously editing the book and how did he have a career?
I don't know.
So something's happened there.
Money.
Well, yes, money's happened there. Yeah, totally.
The house. His mum is like, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe her.
Like, Maddy walks in late, obviously, because she's caught the bus.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, you're finally here, you've made it. Did they find your luggage? She's like, no. And the mum's like, oh, that's such a shame. And Maddy's like, no, it's okay. And she's like, no, I don't care about your stuff. I care about the bridesmaid's dress, because otherwise you're going to look out of place.
And you know what? Good riddance to that bridesmaid's dress, because it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just a slip with a bolero.
Oh, disgusting.
Look. And she makes comments like that kind of throughout the whole movie.
She does.
She's very authoritative, I guess is the nicest way to put that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's basically as if it's like her wedding.
Yes. And the two weddings are quite different. So, like, once we get into the alternate universe, the mother is much more involved with every single decision that's been made than it seems that she is when it's the wedding of Emma and Paul. Like, Lindsay is forced to wear a certain dress. She's forced to have a certain type of wedding.
And I think that's what they show in the alternate universe, is that Emma is clearly destined to be with Paul because, first of all, they're both British, or England.
Yeah.
British?
From it depends what
Which
part of Ireland
Ireland,
we're
yeah.
in, which we never really find out.
They're both from that area, that particular part of the world. And she, in the alternate universe, she's very much like, oh, I love that dress, you know, and says like a lot of things and just kind of understands the family. Maddie's very different.
Yes.
So you can kind of understand why the mother is a bit more hands-on, because she's like, she's probably like, an American. Whereas,
an American that has no taste.
Emma is, you know, she likes bike rides and vintage Lanvin wedding dresses and boleros, so it's all good.
It's all good. So we get to, they go on an outing.
Yes.
They want to go
boat picnic.
They go picnicking, but
Which they don't.
They don't picnic.
They don't picnic.
They get in some boats that apparently are only fit for two people.
Pink and brand new.
Pink and brand new.
Yeah.
They're only two person per boat kind of deals, and there's a group of 5 of them. So naturally, Emma and Paul are in one because they're a couple. Brother and other friend must be in the other boat because she wants to be a couple.
She wants to be with him, yeah.
And so Lindsay's like, it's fine. I will just go for a walk. And
such a Debbie Downer.
Emma's like, can you get a photo of us first? So she like, Maddy takes a selfie of like the 5 of them, and then Emma's like, no, just of me and Paul, please.
I found that really weird because like I wouldn't have interpreted that as selfie time. Let's get us all in. I would have interpreted that as, oh, you and Paul want a photo. Yeah. Great.
But also, all of your friends have flown to Ireland to be at your wedding. Wouldn't you want... Anyway. Yeah. So, Lindsay finds a rock to sit on.
Under a tree.
A really beautiful tree.
Very fake CGI tree.
She, in an exasperated way, is like, I wish I was marrying Paul. Next minute, we meet St. Bridget.
Yes, in a mod 60s outfit.
Which, like, for me is definitely the, like, it's like a very leprechaun-y vibe to St. Bridget.
Yes, very much. It also it reminds me of the Princess Switch, how they have, like, that kind of character. Yeah. It's
very much, and, like, so the idea of St. Bridget is that she grants the wishes of those who sit in the seat, like what Lindsay has sat. The rock that she sat on is like the wishing seat, but she doesn't necessarily grant the wish that you want. She grants the wish that you need. Is kind of like the premise of this whole thing. So, it started getting a little bit more zesty from this point onwards. I think because St. Bridget comes in and she's like, your wish is granted, and Maddy's like, that's it, there's no like magic involved, and she's like, what do you want, like a wind? And she's like, yeah, kind of. So St. Bridget's like, fine then, and just like creates like a tornado experience.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. And then we wake up
and she's like, I think she thinks it was a dream.
Yes.
And then she goes into the shower and she sees Paul naked in the shower, and she's confused. She doesn't realise.
And it's immediately like, I can't be looking, but like everything that he's giving her indicates that this is okay. So like, 1, the fact that you've made a wish. 2, the fact that you have never in any capacity seen this man naked.
Yeah.
And he's fine with it.
And
it's
he's
like,
in your bathroom.
Yeah. It's like, what? Anyway.
And even when Emma asks, like, oh, where's Paul? First of all, why are you asking for Paul anyway?
Because they're having an affair.
Are they at that point, though?
I think so.
Okay. Well, yeah. And he walks out of the room and there's no, like, what are you doing in there? Like, girl, like, put 2 and 2 together.
You made a wish.
Look at your hand. You've got a ring there.
That's the thing. Is that she has this giant engagement on this end. Giant engagement ring. That's like this huge emerald. And not at any point does she notice that it's on her finger.
Yeah. And then the terrible framed photo of her and Paul, where it's clearly photoshopped.
I do like the maroon outfit that she was in to go to breakfast.
I didn't understand why she was wearing it.
Well, yes. In this new reality, she has a new personality.
Yes,
fashion-wise.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was the alternate universe or if it was the fact that Paul was probably like, oh, you're going to like an aristocratic home, sharpen up. I don't know.
What happened is, what it felt like is that Emma and Maddy swapped wardrobes.
True.
I like all of the outfits she wore. I really liked, but it wasn't anything that she had worn prior to Wish. But Emma had worn a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was at this point that I just like. She gets down to breakfast, and I just wrote like, what is it that she even likes about Paul?
Yeah.
I don't understand what his appeal is to her.
I think I wrote Paul. Oh, that's a bit later on. I'm still right. Paul remains terrible. Like he doesn't have a nice personality. They literally have zero chemistry. Yeah. Even though I think at this point she realizes that the wishes come true. So she's not even like, oh yay, I get to like touch him and like be like, she doesn't want to kiss him. No. She's like, why are you coming near me? Like but also he's a bit cringe and creepy.
He is a bit cringe and creepy. There is at no point where I'm like, oh, take me now. And I get that when you work with someone and you see a different side of them, or even just you don't even have to work on them, just spending time with someone that you see a lot of different parts of who they are as a person, that can become quite endearing. But at no point do we see anything other than douchebag Paul. So
no, totally.
It is kind of hard to kind of swallow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to see what back to this note?
Oh, sorry. Because I stopped writing notes for a while. Because I was just watching the movie. What did I say? I said, we're backtracking a little bit. I said, I don't know why I find the whole magic wish thing cringe. It is a bit cringe, but I guess it makes sense. Also, I wish it was a real thing because I don't even remember writing this. Because I would sit on a rock and wish to marry Harry Styles.
Why did I write that? Send us what you would wish for, everyone.
Do you know what? If I woke up and Harry Styles was in the next bed, I'm like, bravo. Yes, let's go.
Thank you, Bridget.
Let's go.
Oh, hilarious. Sorry, I just saw it and giggled. So they're like, okay. So now we're planning the wedding of Maddy to Paul, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot of it's like a 2, maybe 3 days away.
Yes.
The wedding dress still needs to be fitted.
The mum's not there.
Mum is flying in the day of the wedding.
Crazy. What? That's so stupid. Even I think she's a teacher. Yeah. Take the time off.
Yeah.
Girl.
I don't know. Principal maybe.
Yeah.
So then, she's in the wedding dress. She's in the store where she's getting all the what's it called? Alterations done. And through the window she sees St. Bridget and she's like, wait. So she chases St. Bridget to the point where she runs all the way onto the street and falls into James's car.
Obviously,
because it's a convertible.
Would you consider this like a third meet cute?
I guess because he doesn't know her.
Yeah, but she knows him.
And it's kind of cuter than the first time they meet.
Yeah.
She sees him, obviously knows a lot about him. He's a little bit weird about it because he hasn't met her in this universe.
No.
Everyone follows her, and the mum's like, "Oh, you found a photographer."
Yes.
And Lindsay's like, or Maddy's like, "Yes, I have. He's a nature photographer though," and he's like, "I could do a wedding for the right price." So then they start spending some time together because they want to find locations for their like couple photos.
Well, yeah, is it that Paul organised something through his publicist, like they have photos after the wedding? Is that what they're that's what they're finding? Is like the more like I don't know what it's for, like a magazine spread or something.
The PR for all of the people who need it.
Yeah.
But Paul doesn't want to go out because Lindsay in the middle of the night, Maddy in the middle of the night has beaten him up because she's not used to having him in her bed.
Yes.
He goes to like spoon her and she whacks him in the face.
And the
sore part.
And the downstairs area.
The part that it means that he then, for the rest of the movie, is a sulky baby.
Yeah.
So he doesn't go out because he has a bruise on his eye and he needs it to go down before the wedding because what about all the photos?
Yeah.
So Emma is looking after Paul.
Oh, that she is.
And that whole lot of dialogue was super cringe too. She was like, no, keep me company. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, gross, get out of here.
See, this is the thing, is that, okay, at least Maddy was just like sulky behind closed doors and not like actively flirting with Emma's fiance, Paul.
Yes. Emma is a terrible
in
friend.
this, yes, we learned that Emma is a terrible friend because in this alternate universe, she's like, actively, whether it's physically cheating, I don't know, definitely emotionally cheating, you know. So when you put those, you kind of go, oh, maybe Maddy's not that bad.
No, everyone's quite selfish in this movie.
Yeah, no matter what universe you're in.
Yeah, everyone's very selfish. But
everyone's just frothing this Paul guy.
Everyone's frothing. Oh, James is right there, team.
I know. You're frothing this this aristocratic, like plaid wearing douche, and you've got like rugged British, handsome, let's climb a rock kind of guy and play darts.
Yeah.
And have a beer.
Yeah.
I know which one I'd go for.
Yeah, I really like the pub scene was one of my favorites.
I wrote that. I said there was a lot of chemistry there.
There's a lot of chemistry there. And I wrote, what did I write? Lindsay Lohan is a better actor of and Spilliers.
Oh, totally.
She's more relaxed.
Yeah.
It feels more natural.
Totally.
It's like the Lindsay that we know and love.
Yeah.
Came back in those scenes. In all the other scenes, it was like she was second guessing all of her choices.
Mm-hmm.
Is how it kind of comes across.
Yeah.
But whenever it's a scene between Maddy and James, it's like she is taking a breath. It's like really nice. It's actually really nice.
Yeah.
But like maybe that's the point.
Yes, that could be.
You know, that could also be an active choice. I don't know. I didn't direct this film, surprisingly, because that is that's where she's meant to be going. Like she's meant to be the most comfortable with James because she doesn't belong with Paul.
No.
And so that feeling of like, oh, it's just a little bit like over the top and awkward this whole time works. It does work. It's not a bad thing. I'm not like, oh, it's just terrible acting. I'm just saying that like the two versions of this love story, there is definitely a more I don't know, realistic, connected relationship, and then a weird over the top, please, why is this the main storyline?
Yeah, totally. But I guess that's the point. It's like the be careful of what you wish for.
Yes.
Message.
Yeah.
That's what we're learning.
That's what we're learning. So they are in this pub because the weather is horrible.
Isn't there a tree?
A tree falls on the road. There's no other way out.
Yeah.
They have this great night at this pub. They're dancing, the music, the whole vibe.
I mean, to be fair, those two shouldn't have danced.
No.
Because they were just linking arms and skipping, and everyone else was like really getting into it. But that's
full
fine.
Irish jig.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet. That is probably the best part of the movie for me so far. And then they go back up the next day to the rehearsal dinner.
Well, it's the rehearsal wedding first. That drove me insane because so Maddy's late, but they're like, well, we have to rehearse now.
Yeah, we're not waiting for her.
We're not waiting for her. We're going to rehearse now. So standing at the altar is Paul and Emma.
And Emma's fine with it. Paul's fine with it.
Everyone's fine with it.
Yeah.
And he's looking at her like...
They're in love. This is why I think there's an affair. Because there is no way from just like talking to someone and being like, oh, take care of me while I have a bruised eye, that they would be comfortable being like, yes, please stand in for my future wife at my wedding.
Yeah. And I don't think, from memory, I don't think when Maddy sees this, she doesn't, or maybe she does go...
She reacts a little bit of like, ugh, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So they get to the rehearsal part. I don't really remember much out of that.
Oh, like the rehearsal wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, he goes into like be affectionate with her and she... recoils, but that's because she sees Saint Bridget in a stained glass window, and then she like collapses, and the first thing she says when she wakes up is James. What? And then that's pretty much it and then you get to like the wedding rehearsal dinner. Yeah. Where like no guests are invited to this rehearsal. Like who's coming to this wedding? Like no one. The mother isn't. That's for sure.
And they've like started to play the games that you would play at an engagement party, like. Or like a hens night, like how well do you know the couple, or like how well does the couple know each other?
Yeah.
And so then they're asking all these questions that Maddy should know the answer to, but she hasn't, like the wish side of things of like going into this alternate universe, she has been given no information of her prior life.
Yeah.
So they're like, what's the proposal story? And she's like, it was really special. Yeah. And she says special over and over again because she has no idea how the proposal happened, and from the beginning of this little game, Paul has talked over the top of Maddy the entire time and like answered for her until it gets to the proposal story, and he sits there saying nothing until she's like, help me please, and it turns out that Maddy proposed to Paul.
Yeah, that
on his birthday.
Yeah, and I think that's also a problem. Is that not that a man shouldn't...
Women can
propose for sure, but I think this just adds to the whole thing of like, well, I don't think he really likes... Well, he probably does love Maddy, but he probably knows it's not the right relationship for him, because this is clearly how it shouldn't have happened, or how Maddy would have wanted it to happen.
And also the fact that it's like Maddy proposed on his birthday. Like everything that she does is for like him to be in the spotlight, but there is never any moment where he like very obviously in the reality version of this he adores Emma, where he doesn't have that with Maddy in this alternate universe where they're madly in love. And that's really interesting. So then the mother is like, hey, photographer dude, you might as well stay the night because we want you to take photos from the minute the sun comes up to the end of the night. The wedding is the next day. And he's like, okay. So he goes to like pack up his stuff in the study to, I don't know, find a guest room, and Maddy goes in and is like, you're not leaving, are you? He's like, no, I'm just packing up my stuff. They end up having this massive fight, and again I like appreciate it in the way that they call each other out on their stuff, but they don't do it in a very healthy way. Where he's like, you don't seem happy, why are you doing this? And she's like, why are you constantly running away from your own life? And that is like big worthy questions, but just not in the right context.
Are we at the part where she leaves the party early and goes to her room and she starts writing her own novel and calls it, she writes Untitled Novel, Chapter 1.
Work in progress.
I love whenever there's a writer in a movie because they do this every time. They're like, Untitled Blog, or like Blog Entry 1 or something like that. Like, dude.
I think, and that's, I guess too, like, what isn't touched on much is that he acknowledges, like Paul acknowledges that she's a writer.
But he doesn't.
But he never gives her the opportunity to write.
He's always like, no, you should just keep editing for me, or like, you really should edit this. I've written a bit, But you go.
I've
you go do
written
it.
our wedding vows for both of us.
Oh my
But
gosh.
can you proofread and edit our wedding vows? And she's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't quite. Okay, so Saint Bridget is working her magic all over the world.
We got to talk about the mother.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't care. Like,
I just
she
don't
wasn't
get
needed.
And this is the thing, is that she truly wasn't needed.
No.
So Mum is at the airport. She has slept in because Saint Bridget magic, and has missed her flight. So now she's at the airport trying to get on another flight, which means that she's going to basically get there as soon as the wedding starts. But then Saint Bridget moves a suitcase and
She
trips.
ends up in hospital.
She ends up in hospital from this massive trip that she's had, and then cannot attend the wedding at all, making the mother character complete. Like, there is no, other than some well-timed phone calls, and even then, like, sure, like the phone call of I'm in hospital comes in the middle of the fight in a wedding, but it's like, I don't quite understand the purpose of
this character.
the character at all. Like, it doesn't further, like, the character doesn't further the plot. It doesn't create any tension. Having her there, or not having her there, doesn't stop the wedding. Like, there is no point where Maddy's like, I cannot get married if my mum's not here.
I think that the point, and it's just not done very well, is the fact that it wasn't meant to be. Like, this whole thing's not meant to be at all, including, like, your mother couldn't even get there on time.
And maybe that's the thing, it's like, St. Bridget's like, maybe if mum's not there, then Maddy will stop the wedding.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. She is going through it. So, just before the wedding, Maddy's in her wedding gown. This episode of this podcast is going to be as long as the movie itself. In her wedding gown, first Bestie comes in and is like, how you going?
Yeah.
You're alright. You don't seem alright, but that's okay. Then Emma comes in and Maddy apologizes because she has seen Emma and Paul outside of her bedroom window, have a goodbye moment.
Yeah, like, basically, like, almost kiss in a way.
There's a stroking of the face.
Yeah.
There's crying at the end.
Yeah.
She apologizes, being like, hey, I feel like there's something between you and Paul, and I'm sorry that we're getting married. And then Emma tells Maddy how much she is in love with Paul on her wedding day. And I'm just like, guys.
Oh my gosh.
This, like...
Yeah.
I would feel awful.
I would...
If you were getting married and I came to you and I was like, hey,
on my wedding day.
On your wedding day, your like beautiful dress, makeup done, like you've spent hours and days and years planning this, whatever. And I'm like, sup, mate? Just so you know, I'm in love with your soon-to-be husband. I just don't think we would survive. The podcast would be over.
No, yeah. That's the first thing I'd say. Be like, well, no more podcast. I wouldn't talk to you anymore, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk to you equally as much as I wouldn't talk to my future husband.
Yeah.
Like, it'd just be all over. Because I probably, knowing that I'd seen something, because am I assuming I'd seen something as well? I'd be like, well, you're just having an affair.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's just, I get that it's because they are supposed to be living their own destinies.
Sure.
But it's a crappy friend thing to do.
Yeah.
On both sides, both on Maddy's side and on Emma's side. Because Maddy made this wish knowing that her best friend was marrying the love of her life.
Yeah.
And on Emma's side to be like, hey, my best friend is marrying the love of her life, but I'm going to do whatever I want because I'm actually in love with this person, and love trumps. Love does not trump all.
No. Yeah. So first of all, Paul looks like a douche again.
Yeah.
In his wedding outfit. It was terrible. Oh, mate. I reckon he hated these outfits. The actor. Surely you don't enjoy dressing like that.
I mean, he has gone from, period piece to period piece. So maybe he's just having fun in some cool suits.
So Maddy walks down the aisle in a dress.
her normal everyday.
But she's not wearing a cardigan or denim jacket. But she does appear in one
like
immediately after this scene. The big question for me is, where did the jacket go?
always asking the hard-hitting question.
No, but I was like, because I noticed the dress. I was like, oh, you're wearing a dress. It's fine. And she basically tells him in front of everyone, sorry, I don't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, but she addresses like the congregation.
Yeah.
She doesn't address him.
No.
I found that weird. I was like, do this privately. And then he realizes that it's because of James, and then they end up in like a Colin Firth, like Hugh Grant-esque
battle.
Bridget Jones.
It was very Bridget Jones. To be fair, Princess Diaries also does the like, I don't want to get married today.
Yes, true.
Moment in front of everyone.
But at least she says something to him first, and then.
announces. Yeah.
But he's also like, great.
Yeah, true.
Neither. Samesies.
And I mean, so is Paul, but then Paul also is like, Emma is like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you have these feelings for another man? And she's like, you have feelings for Emma, and he's like, Emma's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And Emma's like, how dare you?
Excuse me?
Irrelevant?
Yeah. And so they have like a little cat fight, and the mum calls, probably didn't need the phone call. You're in hospital, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, but it just doesn't add anything.
No.
Anyway, James runs out. She somehow gets a jacket or cardigan on.
It runs out after him.
Is that what? Yeah.
It's thrown on her.
Yeah, she's wearing a cardigan. Yeah, my question was she wearing one the entire time? She wasn't. So she somehow realizes she needs to quickly put on a cardigan, and then goes and talks. I'm sorry, I'm really fixated on the cardigan because it was just so inconsistent. And then they just kind of have like a conversation, and
it does like they're in the middle of he leaves the fight. It doesn't make a lot of sense as to why he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, if I've ever made you doubt yourself, I'm really sorry. And that's like a really lovely thing to say. And he's like teary. Oh my god, James is perfection. He's like teary and like very apologetic. There isn't a great transition into this like self-pity moment though. It's like fight. I'm walking out. We can't be together, not like this. But he's just broken up. Like, he knows very well that he's broken up the wedding. So I'm like,
you've already done it.
You've already done it. Like, this moment either needed to happen before now, or you just needed to not be at the wedding. Like,
but also, I don't think it needed to be like this because it's not like they did anything.
Mm-mm.
All she did was kind of say, I don't want to marry Paul. He kept saying, you were so unhappy.
Yeah.
She literally went, I don't want to be with Paul anymore.
and he's like,
oh my gosh,
we can't be
together because you did what you should have done.
Then we get a kiss 15 minutes before the end of the movie. So not quite mid-movie, but not the last thing we see.
No.
And he's like, goodbye forever, Maddy, and leaves.
Yeah.
And that is when she's like, I take back my wish.
I wrote, Lindsay running looked fake when she was running to the tree. I have no idea. It kind of like looked like...
Sometimes it's hard. Okay, so running in movies is actually really difficult.
I've seen the clip of the Twilight cast doing it.
Yeah, because you can't run at full pace. The camera does it doesn't work out. So the first time I ever had to run in a movie was the most awkward thing I've ever had to. Because you're running at like half, you're jogging essentially.
Yeah.
You have to make jogging look like you're running, and it's like
that's so
your
weird.
brain is like,
Yeah.
what? Sure, cool. So I'm sure if we look back, if I find the scene where I have to run a movie, you're gonna have the same notes.
Okay, all right.
Because it is fake running,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
It is fake running. Where am I? Oh, and then Bridget is like, it's not really how that works. You can't really take wishes back. And then she's like, I wish I had never made the wish. And she's like, well, that's a different story. Like I wish. She says, I guess it's the moment of like, I've learnt my lesson.
Yeah.
We have to live our own destiny. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I know what I want now. That kind of stuff. Wakes up the next morning and is like, oh my god, I'm now marrying Paul. This is the best thing ever. Everyone's very confused because nobody has been on this journey with her.
Yeah.
And then she like seeks. She says no to Paul writing the book. She wants to write her own book.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's nice.
And also he's bringing that up. He talks on the phone to his PR person
at the wedding.
At his wedding.
Yeah.
Douche.
Yeah.
And she says, no thank you to writing the next book.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And then she goes and seeks out James.
Yeah.
Who's just sitting in the courtyard. And they have a really nice little chat.
Yeah. I really liked the ending.
I
I thought
really
it was
liked
cute.
it. It was
It wasn't like, I
really
love you. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, like,
Should we get to
should
know
we
each
get
other?
to know each other? Should we hang out?
Yeah.
I might stay in Ireland for a bit.
Me too.
Cool.
Let's
Nice.
Let's get not even let's get. There was no date set.
There was no
it
date
was like,
together,
let's
it was
just have a chat.
It was the most realistic
It was
kind of
very sweet.
situation that could happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I even wrote a nice. Are these your notes? I don't even remember writing that. I wrote a nice message to the movie. Just let destiny happen.
Yeah.
I don't remember writing that.
Were you drunk when you watched this movie?
No, I wasn't. I don't drink midweek.
Good job.
Thank you.
I don't
Drink. And that's the end.
Yeah. We got there. Look, again, this episode is half an hour shorter than the movie itself so far, but we haven't stopped talking yet. So lucky you.
3 things.
I
have 3 things.
I have 3 things, and it wasn't difficult to find 3 things.
No, neither.
James is the top of my list, and James's chemistry with Lindsay, particularly, is the top of my list.
Yeah.
And then the Irish sense of humour comes through a lot in this movie, which is why we love the Irish, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they didn't just set a movie. We've seen some movies set in the Scottish Highlands and all that, where they've just made them very dry.
Yeah.
But I appreciated. I keep wanting to say appreciated. Appreciated the kind of leprechaun-y St. Patrick's Day vibes.
Yes.
Of
They're
this
leaning
film.
into it for sure.
And just Ireland.
Yeah. I think mine were kind of similar. So yeah, Lindsay's acting was actually good. It was significantly better than, what was her last movie?
Falling for Christmas.
Falling for Christmas. That was it felt rough.
Yeah.
But this was pretty decent.
Yeah.
She did a better job. And maybe it was just, I don't know how they did these movies, because she's doing 3. She's contracted to do 3. So I wonder if she did them one after. Oh, but you wouldn't, because they're completely different movies.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know, maybe by the time she got to this one, she felt a bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah, she had great chemistry with the James character.
Yeah.
And then loved a British man, loved a British accent. That will always get a win for me. And then I loved the scene. It was honestly stunning. I feel like they did capture Ireland on the best days.
Yeah.
Because the weather's not always like that.
Very
I'm sure it was filmed in summer and they were wearing jumpers and cardigans and it was slightly overcast. But it was beautiful. Like the house, when they're on the cliffs.
Yeah.
Oh, stunning.
Did definitely make me miss the UK.
Yeah, me
I
too.
had a bit of an existential crisis when rating this movie.
I was fine. You know what? Even after talking about this, I still feel fine with my rating.
Great. I sat there because we rated Falling for Christmas at an 8.5.
That is insane. That's not true.
We need to figure out this system.
Yeah.
So I have written a paragraph to. I'm just going to bring my laptop up for those watching at home. A paragraph of this is why. I have rated it a 7 out of 10. And I feel like if it's going to be rated higher, then we need to either figure out our rating system and rate Falling for Christmas lower.
Yeah, okay.
Or we need to give our previous movies, A Vineyard Christmas and A Vineyard Romance, higher ratings. Because 8.5 is insane.
Yeah, no, I agree with our other ratings.
Great.
Because when you look at the production value, it's significantly different and even,
That's
acting.
what I'm saying, is that there was still a little bit of over-the-top acting, still a little bit of disconnected acting, and still plot holes in this movie, but the budget is significantly higher, and that overall makes for a better movie.
I think Falling for Christmas at 8.5 is insane. I also rated this movie 7 out of 10.
Great.
So, Falling for Christmas needs to be a 6, to be honest. I think it's not as enjoyable as this movie. Were we drunk?
Maybe. Maybe we were drunk
We
on
were
Christmas.
drunk on the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel comfortable with 7 out of 10
Great.
for this movie. I don't feel comfortable with 8.5.
No.
Falling for Christmas.
We're gonna go watch all the movies we watched last year and re-rate
I'm
every
not
single
doing
one.
that. I would never do that.
Anything over an 8 will get a 7, and we'll be moving on. I enjoyed watching it.
Me too.
I obviously watched it for a second time. I would probably watch it again. I would recommend it to people.
I would like to watch it again without thinking about writing
Yes.
notes.
I really enjoyed it when I didn't have to think about, not even critiquing it, but like, the story and the plot holes will always be a niggly weird thing, and
Yeah.
a lack of detail will always be a niggly weird thing that we will bring up all the time, because again, we know what we are.
Yeah.
But when given the chance to just watch a movie without really thinking about it, and like happily like scrolling on the phone a little bit, or like having a chat with housemates during the movie, it's quite enjoyable to
Yeah.
watch. I think too, watching it on St. Patrick's Day was like, this is my little bit of Irish culture
Yeah,
for today.
yeah.
So yes, I think if you go and watch it, you will not probably agree with our 7 out of 10. You will enjoy it, because I enjoyed watching it as
Yeah.
just a passive participant
Yeah.
in it.
I think you'll just enjoy it. Like, it doesn't have to be on St. Patrick's Day. Just enjoy it for like the
Yeah.
scenery and like the
It's
kind of
stunning.
the vibes that the overall movie brings.
Yeah. The end.
The end. Thanks for listening.
And if Ireland would like to sponsor us,
Oh my gosh! Yay!
we will gladly become ambassadors to Ireland. Yeah, I mean that's it. We've gone on Prime. We've looked at every single possible type of Hallmark movie that's available on Prime.
Yes.
And we have found as many Hallmark movies as we possibly can.
They've removed a few.
They've removed quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the ones that are left, some of them we have already watched and talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
So next fortnight we will be talking about Love on Harbour Island,
Yay.
which is a Real One entertainment movie, but is on the Hallmark channel. So
we're classing that as a Hallmark movie, right?
yeah,
Sure.
Hallmark has it listed
Yes.
on their website.
Well,
so,
when I googled it, Hallmark was the first thing that popped
yeah.
up.
So if you would like to watch before you listen, that's
On Prime.
on Prime here in Australia, probably on many other platforms outside of Australia. Lucky ducks.
Yes.
But in the meantime, if you would like to tell us that our rating system sucks, you can do that via our socials at HallmarkedPod on both Instagram and TikTok, or you can email us at hallmarkedpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, if there's anything in particular. We had a few comments from our first episode back being like, we also thought you were talking about A Vineyard Christmas during the A Vineyard Romance episode.
Really?
So we were not the only ones. Thank you for validating us.
That was never do 2 Vineyard movies in a row. It's so confusing.
It's so confusing. But we're going to an island.
We're going to an island. Yay.
Yay, how tropical.
From Ireland
To
an
island. Oh no, what have we done?
Oh, what am I going to get confused?
Oh,
Probably
no.
not. They're very different.
One has Irish accents,
Yes.
the other doesn't.
That's true.
But before this digresses any further,
Let's wrap this.
we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.